Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kita mulakan kelas kita pada pagi ini dengan membaca ummul kitab Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin, arrahmanirrahim, maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala sayyidina Muhammadin asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, ampunkanlah dosa-dosa kami, ampunkanlah dosa kedua ibu bapa kami dan kasihlah mereka sebagaimana mereka mengasihi kami di masa kecil. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, kurniakanlah kepada kami ilmu yang bermanfaat untuk diri kami, keluarga kami, agama kami, bangsa kami dan negara kami. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, berilah kepada kami kejayaan di dunia dan di akhirat. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, jadikanlah kami orang-orang yang bersyukur. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Walhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Alhamdulillah, kita bersyukur pada Allah SWT. Pada hari ini kita dapat menyambung semula kelas kita selepas bercuti selama seminggu. Jadi semoga semuanya sihat. Jadi hari ini kita akan sambung dengan apa yang kita berhenti pada minggu yang lepas. Okey. Iaitu kita akan sambung dengan baki daripada tajuk Company Reconstruction and Changes in Business Structure. Itu kita akan sambung pada hari ini dan akan habiskan pada hari inilah. InsyaAllah kelas yang 1 jam pada hari Rabu nanti, itu adalah kelas untuk tajuk barulah. Kita akan masuk tajuk baru pada ketika itu. Okey, jadi saya akan sharekan kepada awak semua. Share semula file yang saya share pada 2 minggu lepas. Okay, before Hari Raya, we have learned about company reconstruction. Company reconstruction, the first one is capital reduction. Okay, I'm sure that you still remember. At the end of this class, insyaAllah we are going to discuss another question, that is 7.3. But before we go to that question, okay, I would like to continue my lecture. Okay, I want to continue my lecture with the second part of company reconstruction. Okay, so the second part of company reconstruction is actually external reconstruction. Okay, external reconstruction. So what is external reconstruction? What is external reconstruction? If in a capital reduction, okay, the company is facing heavy losses and also problems of the current liability is more than current asset, or in another word, the working capital is negative, and then when we reduce the capital, okay, we are actually eliminating the loss, and then we reduce the capital. Okay, reducing the capital is actually requiring the shareholders to absorb the loss. The shareholders to absorb the loss. So after the shareholders absorb the loss becomes zero, and after that the company can go ahead with whatever plan that company has. Okay, and here for external reconstruction is actually an alternative to internal reconstruction. It is an alternative. This is more common among smaller companies. So capital reduction is common for big companies, and external reconstruction is common for small companies, especially family business or family concerns. A new company is formed by the existing shareholders to take over the asset and liabilities of an ailing or sick company. So the company is already ailing, already sick, already facing problem with losses, already facing problem with confidence from public, from the customers, from the suppliers. So what the company has to do? The company will form a new company. The company will form a new company. A new company is formed by the existing shareholders to take over the asset and liabilities of the old business. Okay, this number one. And then what the new company will do? The new company will purchase all the asset and liabilities of the old company. Yeah, the new company will purchase all the asset and liabilities of the old company. So whenever there is a purchase, whenever there is a purchase, there is a purchase price, or also known as consideration. And the consideration or the price will be paid by issuing shares in a new company. The old company is wound up. So after the new company purchase all the asset liabilities of the old business, the old business will be wound up, will be liquidated. Maknanya dicairkan, ditutup, ataupun apa kita kata, istilahnya adalah wound up, wound up. The new company shareholders will mainly be made up of the shareholders of the old company. The public will see it as a new establishment, as the name will be different, and there could be a change in the management team also. The cost of undertaking an external reconstruction will be higher, as there is a liquidation of the old business and a formation of a new company. Okay, and lastly, the books of the old company will be closed and the books of the new company will be open. So kita lihat kat sini berlaku beberapa proses. Jadi sebagai pengetahuan, okay, external reconstruction is suitable for small companies ataupun kita panggil family business. Family business ni maknanya the business shareholders are from one family. From one family. So consists of the father, the mother, the sons and the daughters, grandchildren and so on. Okay, and if the company face problem, basically the problem is similar to the problem of capital reduction company. Okay, but since the company is smaller, the company can decide to close, to form a new company and to close the old company. Okay, what the company will have to do? Okay, after the new company is formed, the new company will purchase all the asset and liabilities of the old company. Okay, so whenever the asset and liabilities are purchased, it means the old company has to close all the books, close the asset account, close the liability account, close the capital account, close the revenue account, close the expenses account. Everything will be closed. So itu yang bawah sekali tu. And the new company will open the books. Okay, the new company will open the book. Open the book means initially the new company has nothing. The new company has nothing. It has only maybe cash and ordinary share. So after the new company issue shares to purchase asset and liabilities of the old company, now the new company is having assets and liabilities. The new company is having asset and liabilities. The asset and liabilities of the old company now transferred to the new company. Okay. Okay, that is external reconstruction. Okay. Boleh bayangkan tak external reconstruction ni? Boleh tak cuba bayangkan external reconstruction ni macam mana dia boleh berlaku? Maknanya company-company yang kecil, okay, ada sesiapa yang nak bercakap tadi?
Boleh faham.
Boleh faham, okay. So kalau kita boleh faham, then kita pergi kepada yang kedua lah. Yang seterusnya adalah berkaitan dengan conversion of sole proprietorship and partnership into a limited liability company. Okay, conversion of a sole proprietorship and partnership into a company. Okay, I'm sure that you have learned about sole proprietorship and partnership previously. Okay, it could be in okay, for sole proprietorship we have learned in part 1, part 2. Yeah, for the partnership you may have learned in your part 3 or part 4. Okay, about partnership. Okay, and you understand how the partnership account are presented. Yeah, how the partnership account are presented, how the sole proprietorship account are presented. Okay, so uh, business conversion is a process. It's a process whereby an unincorporated business, that is sole proprietorship or partnership. So sole proprietorship and partnership, they are unincorporated business. They are not a corporate. Okay, they are business but they are not corporate. Bukan corporate. Dia bukan corporate lah. Bukan corporate maknanya not registered under Companies Act 2016. Okay, so unincorporated business is converted into a limited liability company. Yeah, converted into a limited liability company. Why you have to change your status from sole proprietorship or partnership into a limited liability company? Yeah, owners of an incorporated business, owners of an unincorporated, unincorporated, may want to convert their unincorporated business into a company to enjoy the benefit of limited liability. Yeah? To enjoy the benefit of limited liability. What is the meaning of to enjoy the benefit of limited liability? What are the benefit of limited liability? You have learned this one in your company law. Yeah? You have learned this one in your company law. Okay? Whereby, okay, a company is having a limited liability. The shareholders of the company is having limited liability. What is the meaning of limited liability? The liability of the shareholders is only up to the amount agreed by the shareholders. Yeah. So if the shareholders is having 100,000 ordinary share of RM1 each, his liability is up to 100,000. Even though the liability of the company is 1 million, your liability as a shareholder is only 100,000, not more than that. So that is number one, to enjoy the benefit of limited liability. What about the partnership? What about the sole proprietorship? Sole proprietorship and partnership, their liability are unlimited. Their liability are unlimited. That's why they want to enjoy the benefit of limited liability. That is number two, to have access to more capital. Okay, to have access to more capital. So if you convert your business from sole proprietorship into a limited liability company, you can get access to more capital. As a sole proprietor, even if you are a millionaire, okay, you have only 1 million. You have only 1 million. But if you convert your business into a limited liability company, you can get access to more capital because the number of members, the number of owners of the company is more than one. Yeah, more than one, up to unlimited number. And including capital market. Yeah, including capital market. And also you can capture future growth opportunities and eventually become a public listed company. So there are two types of limited liability company actually. Okay, the first one, the small one is private limited. Yeah, private limited, PTE Ltd. Yeah, PTE Ltd, private limited ataupun dalam bahasa Melayu sendirian berhad. Another one is limited Ltd. LTD ataupun bahasa Melayu BHD, berhad. Okay, so berhad ni dia akan going towards public listed company. Okay, towards public listed company. So bila you jadi public listed company, your shares is traded in the open market, and you can get access to more capital. Not only that, okay, sometimes you will be replaced by other people because of your shares are traded in open market. Yeah. Okay. To convert the business, the owners, that is the sole proprietors or partners, will form a company. Specifically to acquire their own business as a going concern. So similar to external reconstruction just now, okay. But sole proprietorship and partnership, basically they have no problem with laws or something else, okay. But the purpose is to enjoy the benefit of limited liability, okay. So what they are doing, they will form a company. They form a company specifically to acquire their own business. Okay, what is the meaning of to acquire their own business? Okay, to acquire their own business means to purchase the asset and liabilities of their business. So a new company will be formed to purchase asset and liabilities of the sole proprietorship or partnership. Okay, to acquire their own business as a going concern. The company so formed will acquire the asset and liabilities of the old business. You see here? Yeah. Will acquire the asset and liabilities of the old business. The new company will incur a cost for taking over the asset and liabilities of the old business. The cost is consideration transferable. Yeah, the cost is consideration transferable or purchase price. Sometimes we call consideration transferred, sometimes we call purchase price. Agreed upon by both the seller and the purchaser. Okay, and you can see from here that actually the seller and the buyer are the same people. Yeah, the buyer and the seller are the same person. But when we talk about business, okay, if you own two businesses, okay, those businesses are separated, even though the owners are the same. Kan? Okay, the owner of the old business is Mr. A. The owner of the new business is also Mr. A. But Mr. A, through the new business, can purchase the asset and liabilities of the old business. Yeah, and the new business is paying the purchase price to the old business. The old business here is referring to the owner of the old business. The purchase price could be settled by cash or by shares in the new company, or combination of cash and shares or other securities. If sellers of the business is given ordinary shares in the new company, then they become shareholders of the new company, and in most cases, they become the directors of the new company. Of course, you are forming the company, you become the shareholder of the company, and you can appoint yourself as a director. Yeah? You form a new company to purchase the old business. So the shares is yours. If the shares, the majority of shares is yours, then you can appoint yourself as a director. Yeah? You can appoint yourself as director of the company. So basically, you leave the old business, you go into the new business. And the old business will be closed. If sellers of the business is given ordinary shares, okay, macam kita dah cerita tadi lah, and in most cases, it become the directors. He become the directors of the new company. This conversion is regarded as a sale of business. So there is a seller and there is a buyer. And the seller is the old business, and the buyer is the new business, the new company. When the conversion takes place, the book of the old business will be closed, and the books of the new company will be open. Similar to external reconstruction. Okay. Of course, when you transfer your asset and liabilities, your asset account becomes zero. your liabilities account become zero. So if normally the asset is debited, now you credit your asset. You credit your asset, you debit your liability, so your asset becomes zero, your liability become zero. And you transfer the asset and liabilities to the new company. The new company will debit the asset and credit the liabilities because they are purchasing the assets and the old business books and you open the new company's books. Okay? Any question about conversion of sole proprietorship and partnership into a company? Okay, so we can see the example, illustration in page 260. You can see the illustration, page 260. If you have the book, you can turn to page 260. What it says, the owner of Syarikat Raisin, Encik Jom, wishes to convert his sole proprietorship into a company. The fair value of the net asset of Syarikat Raisin is 2 million. Encik Jom could register a limited liability company for the purpose of buying the net asset of Syarikat Raisin for an agreed price. This agreed price could be discharged in cash or shares or debentures in the company or combination of cash and shares. If the company issues shares to Encik Jom in exchange for the net asset of Syarikat Raisin, then Encik Jom becomes its shareholders. The seller of the business is Syarikat Raisin and the buyer is limited liability company. So we can see from here the example, Encik Raisin and new company. Encik Raisin sell asset and liabilities to a new company, and basically Encik Raisin also Encik Jom is also the one who formed the new business, the new company. Okay, so kita boleh lihatlah sedikit illustration kat sini. Okay, illustration. Sebelum illustration kita boleh tunjuk kat sini. Let's say this is all business, yeah. All business is having what? Property, plant, equipment amounting to 100,000. There's also inventory, 50,000. And it has trade payable, 20,000. Okay. So by looking at this, okay, we know that the old business, the sole proprietor is having property 100,000, inventory 50,000, trade receivable 30,000, trade payable 20,000, and the net asset of this company is 100 plus 50 plus 30 minus 20. So it is equal to net asset is equal to 160,000. So when the new company was formed, okay, the new company will purchase all this property, plant, equipment, inventory, trade receivable, and trade payable, and the new company will pay at least 160,000. Will pay at least 160,000. So when the old business sold the asset and liabilities to the new company, okay, what the new business is doing? What the old business is doing? The old business will close all the account because the property is no more with the business. The inventory is no more with the business. The trade receivable and trade payable also no more with the business. All those asset and liabilities have been transferred to to the new company. So the new company will debit the property, plant, equipment 100,000, debit inventory 50,000, debit trade receivable 30,000, and credit trade payable 20,000. Itu yang kita maksudkan. Apa dia tadi? The book of the old business will be closed and the book of the new business will be open. Okay. Any question about conversion of sole proprietorship and partnership into a limited liability company?
So, kalau ada loan kena bayar dulu kan?
A very good question. Kalau ada loan pun sama ada dia dibayar dulu ataupun loan tadi pun dibeli sekali. Boleh juga beli. Kalau katakan kat sini kan, katakan dia bayar tak adalah di sini ya. Kalau katakan dia ada loan lah. So in addition to trade payable tadi, dia ada loan pula kan. Dia katakan loan ada 10,000. Loan 10,000 ya. Kalau dia kata loan, ni loan kita letak warna lain lah sebab ni berdasarkan kepada soalan. Okay. So katakan kita ada loan tadi 10,000. So kita punya ni akan jadi kat sini 150 lah. 150,000. Jadi the new company will pay 150,000 sebagai dia punya consideration transfer ataupun purchase price. So lepas tu dia akan the old business will close the account. It means will credit the property, will credit the inventory, credit trade receivable, debit trade payable and debit loan. Okay. Jadi apa lawan kepada debit dan kredit tadi? Sebenarnya ada satu account yang kita panggil realization account. Tapi kita sebab kita tak belajar detail, kita cuma cover dia punya teori saja. So tak adalah saya tunjukkan kat sini ya. Jadi sebenarnya bila kita kredit kat sini, kredit property, plant, equipment, kita debit realization account. Okey. Kemudian bila sampai kepada new company pula, new company dia akan debit asset kan? Debit PPE, debit inventory, debit trade receivable. Dia akan kredit apa? Dia akan kredit satu account yang dipanggil business purchase account. Okey. Kemudian dia akan debit trade payable, dia akan debit loan dan dia kredit trade dia akan kredit apa? Business purchase account. Okey. Tapi yang tu saya tak ajarlah, ya. Saya cuma sebut-sebut saja, saya tak ajar sebabnya kita cuma cover dia punya teori saja. Jadi kalau kata soalan dalam exam keluar pun, soalan dia akan tanya pasal teori ni je lah. Dia tak akan tanya pasal calculation di sini. Capital reduction, yes. You will be asked about calculation. Tapi untuk yang external reconstruction, conversion of business, yang ni semua you tidak akan ditanya tentang calculation. Okay ya. So kita teruskan dengan changes in business structure yang seterusnya, iaitu amalgamation. Amalgamation. Pernah dengar perkataan amalgamation?
Tak.
Tak pernah Yang kita pernah dengar amal lah. Amal kita pernah dengar Amal pernah dengar, gamat pernah dengar kan? Amal pernah dengar, gamat, minyak gamat. Okay, tapi sebenarnya amalgamation. So amalgamation. What is amalgamation? Amalgamation takes place when two or more companies combine their business. Two or more business combine their business. So can you visualize two companies combine their business? Two companies combine their business. So you akan imagine there is a company A Berhad and there is another company B Berhad. So A Berhad and B Berhad will be combined. Combine their business by selling their business on a going concern basis to a newly formed company. Okay, jadi maknanya dua company tadi bergabung. Bagaimana kaedah bergabung? Dia akan jual all the asset and liabilities kepada a newly formed company. So maknanya dua pihak ni pakat-pakat ditubuhkan satu company baru. Tubuhkan satu company baru. Jadi A dan B ni dia akan ditutup. A dan B akan ditutup, ditubuhkan company baru. Sebelum ditutup, dia kena tubuh company baru dulu lah. Okay, to form a new company, to form a new company, the new company is formed to acquire the asset and liabilities of the existing companies. And these companies are wound up. Jadi company yang lama yang dua tadi akan ditutup selepas berlakunya purchase of asset and liabilities of the old companies. Jadi old companies dia kena jual dulu asset dia dan liability dia, okay, kepada new company. Kemudian new company of course lah, dia akan beli semua asset liabilities of the old business. Old business will be closed. Old business will be closed, and the new company will continue to operate. Will continue to operate the old business punya operation. Jadi bisnes yang lama tadi tutup, digantikan dengan satu bisnes baru yang lebih besar. The new company ni is bigger company lah, because it combines at least two businesses. The consideration given ataupun the purchase price given may consist of cash, shares and or debentures in the new company. Depending on the consideration given, the shareholders of the old companies may become shareholders of the new and bigger company. This form of combination is suitable for companies of similar size. When amalgamation takes place, the book of the old business will be closed and the books of the new company will be open. So the story is similar to external reconstruction, similar to conversion of sole proprietorship and partnership into a limited liability company. The old business will be closed and the new company will take over all the asset and liabilities of the old business. Okay, tiga-tiga tu sama, tapi dia ada cerita lain di sebalik tu. Okay, untuk external reconstruction tadi, small company, family business, face problem with liquidity, face problem with apa kita kata loss. Okay, tetapi sole proprietorship and partnership tadi dia tak ada masalah. Dia tak ada masalah apa-apa, tapi dia form a new company to take over asset and liabilities of the old business. Bukan sebab dia ada masalah, tapi sebab dia nak enjoy limited liability status. Dia nak dapat lebih banyak lagi dia punya modal. Dia nak grow dia punya company, kan? Dia punya business. Manakala yang ketiga ni, amalgamation. Amalgamation ni adalah combination of two companies. Company ni tak ada masalah pun. Company tak ada masalah. So, company of similar size combine together, form a new company to take over all asset and liabilities, and then the old business, the old company will be wound up, will be liquidated. So, the new company will continue the business of the old company. Kemudian at the end, the old business account will be closed and the new company account will be open. That is amalgamation. Dan last kali kita ada satu lagi, iaitu absorption. Okay. Absorption, So absorption is basically similar to business combination. The only difference here is combination of two different size companies. Two companies combined together, but they are of different size. One small company, one big company. Can you imagine one big company to combine with one small company? Can they combine their business? Yes, they can combine. But normally, the bigger company will be dominant. Bigger company will be dominant because it is bigger. Absorption of companies takes place when one dominant company acquires the asset and liabilities of another smaller company, and the company being acquired is wound up. So you said you want to combine your business, but the smaller company will be liquidated. The bigger company will take over asset and liabilities of the smaller company. The purchase consideration may take in the form of cash or shares or loan instrument such as debentures in the acquirer company. As in amalgamation, when absorption takes place, the book of the wound up company will be closed and the books of the dominant company will be added with the asset and liabilities of the acquired companies. Jadi yang absorption ni is not exactly the same lah. Not exactly the same with amalgamation. Because in amalgamation, two companies will be liquidated and one company is formed. Whereas for absorption, okay, combination of the two companies, there is no new companies. There is no new company. A bigger company will take over asset and liabilities of the smaller company. One company will be liquidated, another company will continue the operation of the two business. But for accounting purpose, okay, the wound up company, the small company, yeah, the small company account, the small company book will be closed, and the bigger company book will be added with the asset and liabilities of the small business, ya, ataupun of the smaller business asset and liabilities. So itu dia absorption. Okay, jadi tidak ada calculation lah. Tidak ada soalan calculation untuk tajuk-tajuk yang external reconstruction, okay, conversion of sole proprietor and partnership into a limited liability company, amalgamation, absorption ni tak ada calculation. Okay, tak ada calculation. Dia cuma teori lah. We can test you on theory part. But for capital reduction, we can test you on theory part as well as on calculation part. Okay, class, are you following?
Yes.
Okay, do you understand? Yes. Do you understand external reconstruction, conversion of sole proprietorship and partnership into a limited liability company, amalgamation, and absorption? I hope you can understand each one, okay, and you can differentiate between these four category. Okay, so ada apa-apa soalan tak berkaitan dengan ini? Ada tak apa-apa soalan? Kalau tak ada, kita akan tengok soalan 7.3. Okey, sebelum tu saya nak ingatkan minggu ni pada hari Sabtu kita akan ada test ya. Kita ada test pada hari Sabtu pukul 9 hingga 10.30. Tajuk dia adalah tajuk 1 dan tajuk 2, intangible asset dan agriculture. Ya, intangible asset dan agriculture. So when we talk about agriculture, agriculture is also known as biological asset. Jadi tajuk kita yang pertama intangible asset, yang kedua biological asset. Okey, itu test kita lah insya-Allah pada 14 hari bulan pukul 9 pagi hingga 10.30 pagi pada hari Sabtu. Okey. So kalau tak ada apa-apa soalan, saya akan teruskan dengan kita lihat soalan 7.3. Sekejap ya, saya dah bagi belum pada awak ni soalan ni. So if for those who have the book, you can refer to your book, yeah, you can refer to your book 7.3. If you don't have the book, then I will send you the picture of the question. Sekejap ya. Okey, dapat gambar? Saya WhatsApp sekejap tadi. Okey, semua nampak soalan ni
Nampak.
Okey, bagus. So, kita besarkan sikit soalan. Alright. Okay, this question 7.3. Kita dah buat dah 7.4. Hari ni kita reverse balik ke belakang sikit. Kita buat 7.3. This is to test your understanding whether you can do or not. Okay. Selepas kita baca soalan ni, nanti saya bagi masa selama 20 minit dah untuk awak buat. Lepas tu kita akan bincang jawapan. Okay. So what the company has, this one is the trial balance. The trial balance of the company on 31st December X6. Okay. What the company has 700,000 ordinary share. The company has 700,000 ordinary share. Ordinary share of 1 ringgit each. Okay. How do we know? Because the number of shares is 700,000 and RM is also 700,000. Secondly, the company has 300,000 8% preference shares, and the 8% preference share is also 1 ringgit because the RM is also 300,000. And the company is having accumulated losses of 602,500. A very big amount of loss, 602,500. Then, the company also has intangibles, 50,000, trade receivable, 55,000, trade payable, 75,000, and then land and building, 200,000, plant machinery, 180,000, inventory, 63,000, bills payable, 20,000, and bank balance, 55,500. Okay, so bank balance here is credit. It means it is bank overdraft. It is bank overdraft. Okay. It resolved to carry out the following scheme of capital reduction after all the statutory requirements were fulfilled. Number 1, to reduce the ordinary shares to 10 cents per share. Just now we know that the ordinary share is 1 ringgit per share. Now, the company want to reduce to 10 cents. A reduction of 90 cents. Jadi kalau tadi 700,000 times 1 is equal to 700,000. Sekarang ni 700,000 times 10 cents. So the balance of ordinary share capital is only 70,000. Yeah, the balance of ordinary share capital is 70,000 because it has been reduced from 1 ringgit to 10 cents. After that, after it has been reduced to 10 cents, the share consolidated into RM1 ordinary share. Selepas dia turunkan nilai dia kepada 10 sen, baki 70,000 tadi dia convert kepada ordinary share of 1 ringgit each. Dia convert kepada ordinary share of 1 ringgit each. Jadi bila di convert jadi 1 ringgit pun masih lagi 70,000. Tidak peningkat. Okay. Number 2. To get the preference shareholders to accept 250,000 ordinary shares of 1 ringgit each in exchange of the 8% preference shares. So just now preference share is 300,000. Now the preference shareholders are requested to accept 250,000. Ya, 250,000. Jadi bila dia accept 250,000 maknanya dia kerugian sebanyak 50,000. Okey, saya tak tanya tadi berapakah kerugian yang dialami oleh ordinary shareholders? Berapa agaknya kerugian yang dialami oleh ordinary shareholders disebabkan oleh penurunan daripada RM1 kepada 10 sen tadi? Kan, cuba bayangkan you asal you ada RM1. You ada RM1. Kemudian RM1 tadi jadi 10 sen. Jadi berapa banyak you kehilangan?
90 sen.
90 sen. 90 sen kali dengan 700,000 unit. Ya. Kali dengan 700,000 unit. So, how much is your loss? Ataupun how much loss you absorb?
630,000.
Yes, very good. So you are absorbing 630,000 ringgit. Maknanya dengan you accept 10 cent ordinary share tadi, maknanya you agree to sacrifice 630,000 ataupun you agree to absorb 630,000 of the loss of the company. Kat sini loss dia cuma 602,500, tapi ini loss dalam statement of profit or loss. Tapi sebenarnya loss dia lebih besar lagi daripada loss yang inilah. Kita tahulah kalau loss dalam account 602 ni, maknanya loss yang sebenar lebih besar. Sebab tu you agree to absorb 630,000. Lebih besar daripada 602 ni. Kemudian, preference shareholders agree to absorb 50,000. Why 50,000? Because the original value of preference shareholders share is 300,000 and now they agree to accept 250,000. Okay, jadi preference shareholder agree to absorb 50,000 loss. Jauh lebih kecil daripada ordinary shareholders. Ordinary shareholders, they absorb 630,000. Preference shareholders, 50,000. Tapi kalau ikut turutan memang macam tu. Ordinary akan absorb the largest loss, followed by preference. Kemudian yang ketiga, to write off the accumulated losses. So loss 602,500 ni kita akan write off lah. So at the end of the capital reduction scheme nanti, kita dah tak ada loss lah sepatutnya. Okay, the following asset were valued as follows. So aset-aset yang ada tadi dia akan value, revalue. Okay, apakah aset yang kita ada? Aset yang kita ada bermula dengan land. Land, the original value of land is 200,000, now increase to 217,500. Ada increase sikit, 17,500. What about plant and machinery? Plant and machinery reduced from 180 to 130. Reduced by 50,000. So bila kata reduction ni, maknanya dia menambahkan kerugian kan? Kerugian tadi 602,500. Kemudian ditambah dengan kerugian plant machinery sebanyak 50,000. Kerugian intangible sebanyak 30,000. Kerugian inventory sebanyak berapa tadi? Inventories 63. 63 jadi 50. 13,000. Trade receivable berapa trade receivable tadi? Trade receivable kat atas tu 65 jadi 60 jadi 53. Sorry. Trade receivable 55 jadi 53. Jadi macam itulah. So itulah yang kita kata sebenarnya kerugian tu bukanlah 602,500. Kerugian tu lebih daripada itu. Tapi kerugian tadi dikurangkan sebanyak 17,500 disebabkan ada kenaikan land and building. Tapi penurunan ni lagi banyak. Okay, required, discuss the rationale for the undertaking. For undertaking a reconstruction rather than winding up. Number 2, show the journal entries necessary. Number 3, prepare the statement of financial position. Jadi saya nak minta awak buat dua saja. Show the journal entries dan juga prepare the statement of financial position. Okay, jadi untuk ini saya bagi masa selama 20 minit. Sampai pukul 9.20. Sampai pukul 9.20 saya bagi masa untuk cuba buat dan kita akan discuss. Kita akan discuss jawapan dia. Boleh?
Boleh.
Okey, bagus. So awak nak tengok soalan yang ini ke nak tengok yang soalan dekat WhatsApp tu?
WhatsApp.
Okey. So nanti kita akan bincang jawapan pada pukul 9.20. Okay, welcome back. Dah siap ke?
Sikit lagi.
Sikit lagi, okay. Okey, ya. So berdasarkan kepada perbincangan kita tentang soalan tadi, so kita dah fahamlah ya apa yang berlaku. Ordinary shares of RM1 each has been reduced to 10 cent each. So what we are going to do, we are going to debit ordinary share 630,000 and credit capital reduction. This is being ordinary shares written down to 10 cent per share fully paid. Jadi ordinary share tadi telah turun nilai dia daripada RM1 kepada 10 sen sahaja, dan ordinary shareholders sacrifice 630,000 ataupun absorb 630,000 loss of the company. Okay. Jadi kat sini dia tak tunjuklah, dia tak tunjukkan calculation. Jadi kita boleh tunjuk calculation sebenarnya. Okay. Berapa banyak yang dia sacrifice tadi? 90 cent times 700,000. 90 cent times 700,000. Itu first step. First step apabila dia reduce from RM1 to 10 cent. Okay. Second step is to convert the ordinary share from 10 cent to RM1. So the balance after we reduce the amount from RM1 to 10 cent, the balance is 70,000 only. And this 70,000, okay, will be consolidated into ordinary share of RM1 each. So debit ordinary share of 10 cent each, credit ordinary share of RM1 each. So now the ordinary share become RM1 again, but the amount ataupun the number of ordinary share held by the existing ordinary shareholders is only RM70,000. Okay, RM70,000. Okay, that is number one, ordinary shareholders. Number two is about preference shareholders. What happened to the preference shareholders? The preference shareholders just now has been asked to accept ordinary share of 250,000, ordinary share of RM1 each. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to eliminate the preference share. The old preference share, 8% preference share, debit 300,000. Debit preference share 300,000 and credit new ordinary share 250,000 and credit capital reduction 50,000. 50,000 is the amount that the preference shareholders agreed to sacrifice. Agreed to sacrifice 50,000 as compared to ordinary shareholders 630,000. Preference shareholder dia sanggup sacrifice untuk 50,000 saja. Okey. Okey, sekarang ni ada timbul satu persoalan ni sekarang ni. The existing ordinary shareholders, that initially has 700,000 ordinary shares. Now they have only 70,000. Okay, from 700,000 reduced to 70,000. But the preference shareholders, the original preference shareholders, now they are holding 250,000 ordinary share. Far bigger than 70,000. So who is actually controlling the company now? Who is controlling the company?
Ordinary shareholder.
Ordinary shareholder yang baru. Ordinary shareholder yang asalnya preference shareholder sekarang sedang menguasai company ini. Sebab dia ada 250,000 ordinary share berbanding dengan original ordinary shareholder cuma ada 70,000. Nampak tak? So sekarang ni bila berlaku capital reduction ni, dia telah berubah dia punya percentage of shares held by the original ordinary shareholders dengan the ex-preference shareholders. Jadi sekarang ni ex-preference shareholders telah menguasai syarikat dengan memegang sebanyak 250,000 daripada 320,000 share, ordinary share. Okey. Tapi tak apalah, dia nak selesaikan masalah, mungkin dia dah bincang. Kata never mind, you get the ordinary share, you become a majority shareholder. Okey. Kemudian kita nak write off retain losses. Write off retain losses, debit capital reduction, credit retain losses. 602,500, 602,500. Yang ni tak ada masalah lah. Okey. Yang bawah ni kita nak apa dia? Kita nak catat. We want to record the increase or decrease in asset and liabilities. The increase or decrease in asset and liabilities, because the increase in asset will reduce the loss. Reduce in asset will increase the loss. So sebenarnya capital reduction 77,500 ni adalah balancing figure. Jadi apa yang kita kena buat? Kita kena debit land and building first. The land and building increased by 17,500. So we debit. Debit land and building 17,500. And then plant and machinery reduced by 50,000. We credit plant and machinery 50,000. Intangible reduced by 30,000. We credit intangible by 30,000. Inventory reduced by 13,000. So we credit inventories 13,000. And trade receivable reduced by 2,000. We credit 2,000. So now how much is credit? 50,000 plus 30,000, 80,000, 93,000, 95,000. Credit 95,000. Debit only 17,500. So basically, the revaluation of assets has resulted in additional loss of 77,500. 77,500. Jadi sebenarnya loss dia adalah sebanyak berapa tu? 602,500 campur 77,500. Itulah loss sebenar. Jadi 680,000. 680,000 itulah kerugian sebenar. Bukan 602,500. 680,000. Dan 680,000 tadi ingat tak? Dia telah ditampung oleh ordinary shareholders sebanyak 630 dan 30,000 ditampung oleh 50,000 ditampung oleh preference shareholders. Saya ulang balik, daripada 680,000 kerugian sebenar 630,000 ditanggung oleh ordinary shareholders, 50,000 ditanggung oleh preference shareholders. Jadi bila kita buat macam ni, kita nampak semua sekali ke mana pergi, berapa banyak bertambahnya loss, siapa yang tanggung loss. Siapa yang tanggung loss tadi. Okey. Daripada mana datangnya tambahan loss? Tambahan loss datang daripada plant machinery, intangible, inventories dan trade receivable. Okey kelas? Boleh ya? Dan
Boleh.
last sekali adalah statement of financial position after the completion of the scheme. Selepas kita selesaikan semua isu, okay, tapi sebenarnya tak selesai semualah. Yang selesai kat sini adalah loss. Loss dah selesai, dah tak ada dah loss. Okay, so issued and paid up capital sekarang ni ada 320,000. Mana datang 320,000? 70,000 ordinary share yang converted tadi campur dengan new ordinary share 250,000. Jadi dapatlah 320,000. Kemudian bill payable, bank overdraft, trade payable, dia kekal. Kita tak settle pun. Kita kekalkan. Bank overdraft pun kita tak settle. Sebab kita tak ada dapat duit pun tadi. Kita tak ada dapat duit. Jadi tak boleh nak settle bank overdraft. So bank overdraft kekal di situ. 55.5. Okay. Non-current asset. Land and building revalued to 17.5. Plant machinery 130. Intangible 20. Inventories, current asset, inventories 50, trade receivable 53. Okay, jadi total asset is 470.5, total equity and liabilities 470.5. Jadi dalam kes yang ini sebab kerugian dia besar sangat. Kerugian dia besar sangat sampai 600, 2,000, 500. Kemudian bila kita tambah dengan kerugian disebabkan oleh reduce in value of non-current asset, bertambah pula menjadi 680,000 kerugian dia, actual loss dia. Jadi kita boleh settle, setakat kita settlekan iaitu kita write off dia punya loss. Tetapi masalah lain masih lagi belum selesai. Contohnya kat sinilah bank overdraft belum selesai lagi. Kemudian apa lagi? Working capital kita masih lagi negatif sebab current liability lebih besar daripada current asset. Okey. Jadi macam mana kita nak tambah baik lagi capital reduction scheme untuk SAM, untuk YAM ni? Okey, kalau katakan awak boleh bagi cadangan, apa yang kita boleh buat untuk perbaiki lagi? Sekarang ni loss dah tak ada, untuk nak perbaiki sikit lagi, apa yang kita boleh buat? Yang kita boleh buat adalah kita issue ordinary share for cash. Ya. Jadi untuk existing shareholders ni yang sebanyak 320,000 ni kita minta dia orang ni beli saham. Minta dia orang ni subscribe untuk saham. Jadi mungkin untuk 2 unit ordinary share yang sedia ada, dia subscribe 1. Okey. Jadi kalau dia subscribe 1, 320,000 bagi 2 kali 1. 320 bagi 2 kali 1 dapat berapa? Kita dapat 160. So kita dapat tunai 160,000. Tunai 160,000 tadi kita boleh settlekan kita punya bank overdraft 55.55, 55.5 kita boleh settlekan. Kemudian kita ada baki lagi tunai. Kita ada baki tunai lagi sebanyak 145. Sorry, 145 pula. 105 ataupun 104.5. Kita ada tunai 104.5 di sini. Sini dia akan jadi 320 campur 160, dia akan jadi 480. Okey. Kemudian tunai kita ada baki 104,500. Bank overdraft habis. Jadi lebih cantik lagi. Jadi macam itulah bila kita nak buat capital reduction ni, kita kena tengok apa yang kita nak selesaikan dulu. Mungkin dekat sini kita tak boleh nak issue ordinary share sebab ordinary shareholders dan preference shareholders ni pun dah tak ada duit dah. Kan, dia dah tak ada duit, dia dah sacrifice banyak dah. Jadi kita selesaikan dulu, kita eliminate dulu loss, kemudian sikit-sikitlah kita perbaiki. Okey, kelas? Ada apa-apa soalan? Ada tak apa-apa soalan? Tak ada ya?
Tak ada sir.
Tak ada ya. Okey, jadi kalau tak ada ni saya mungkin nak sentuh sikit tentang kembali tentang test ya. Jadi kita tengok satu soalan sample test sekejap ya. Okey, kita tengok satu sample test. Sekejap. Jadi untuk mengingat kembali kita punya format format test kita. Kita tengoklah sampel ni. Jadi kita punya test lebih kurang beginilah. Kita ada soalan satu iaitu intangible. So intangible ni sebanyak 25 markah ya. Intangible 25 markah. Okey. Lebih kurang beginilah soalan dia. Kemudian soalan yang kedua adalah soalan biological asset ya ataupun agriculture. Okey. Jadi kat sini kita tengok biological asset ni, kita tengok kat sini. Okey. Dia soalan yang pertama tu dia akan tanya tentang soalan-soalan yang simple lah. State biological transformation macam tu contohnya. Kemudian bagi example ya, bagi example. Kemudian yang markah banyak itu adalah compute the change in fair value. Compute the change in fair value tu biasanya dia markah dia banyaklah sikit, macam 12 markah macam tu. Kemudian mungkin akan ditanya tentang prepare extract statement of profit or loss dan juga statement of financial position dan juga prepare journal entries. Okey. Jadi mungkin untuk semester ni mungkin ada soalan tentang apa ni? Accounting treatment. Accounting treatment. Jadi kalau katakan kita ni, kita dah calculate semua sekali kan. Kita dah calculate, okey. Mula-mula dia kata mana kata? On 1st January 2019, 22 2-year-old cattle were purchased on credit. Okey, dia kata pada 1 Januari 2019 sebanyak 20 ekor 2 tahun lembu telah dibeli secara kredit. Jadi kalau ini ayat dia, apakah accounting treatment dia? Apakah accounting treatment? Maknanya accounting treatment dia kita akan sebut on 1st January 2019. Ya. So kita akan kalikan ni 20 ekor 2 tahun ni kali dengan harga dia. Ni kan. 2 year old ni kali dengan 325 ni will be recognized as biological asset according to MFRS 141. Accounting treatment dia begitu. Okey. Kemudian kalau katakan kita dapat gain kan, bila kita kira-kira kita dapat gain disebabkan oleh price change, disebabkan oleh physical change, kita sebut okey. On 31st December 2019, okey. Fair value gain of katakan 5,000 is recognized in the statement of profit or loss. Jadi memang kita tak biasa buat accounting treatment ni, tapi kalau katakan ada lah ya, kalau katakan ada soalan pasal accounting treatment, jadi kita jangan panik lah. Accounting treatment ni sama aja. Apa-apa saja. Maknanya kalau intangible kita kata kita recognize as intangible. Kalau biological asset kita recognize as biological asset. Kalau ada gain kita recognize as gain. Macam tu. Okey. Jadi untuk intangible pun macam tu jugalah. Bila dia kata accounting treatment, explain accounting treatment, kita jangan buat debit credit. Kita sebut, okey, 250,000 contohnya can be recognized as intangible asset. Okay, 80,000 can be recognized as intangible asset. Jadi contohnya begitulah. Jadi saya cuma nak recall balik, okay, apa bentuk soalan untuk test, dan insyaAllah dia tak jauh beza lah, dia punya format test tu tak jauh beza di antara test yang akan datang ni dengan sampel yang inilah. Okay, jadi saya harap semuanya boleh menjawab dengan baik lah pada hari Sabtu tu. Okay, apa lagi saya nak kata? Ada apa-apa soalan berkaitan dengan test? Pada hari Rabu nanti kita akan masuk tajuk baru, Consolidated Financial Statement.
So, kita ambil test kat mana?
Okey, saya baru dapat maklumat ni, test asalnya dekat BSP, Seri Pria. Tapi ada kemungkinan dipindahkan ke BKSP. BKSP ni dekat blok College Perempuan tu, apa nama blok tu? BKSP kat mana? Siapa tahu BKSP kat mana? Dia dekat College Perempuan, apa nama? Baiduri. Satu lagi? Yang belasan dia, College Kediaman B. So BKSP ni dekat
Nilam.
College bukan Nilam. Satu lagi. Baiduri, Nilam, satu lagi. Yang satu lagi. Baiduri, Nilam. Apa satu lagi? Jadi dia di antara tempat dia tu di antara Baiduri dengan kolej satu lagi itulah. Dekat Dewan Makan tu, dulu Dewan Makan tapi sekarang jadi Dewan Peperiksaan, BKSP BKSP 3 insya-Allah. Jadi untuk tempat tu saya akan update semula lah. Saya baru saja dapat email pertukaran tempat Jadi saya akan maklumkan tempat dia tu nanti dalam WhatsApp group lah. Okey. Jadi saya rasa saya dah cukuplah untuk saya mengajar pada hari ini. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan boleh tanya. Kalau tak ada, kita akan bersurai. Tak ada
So far tak ada, sir.
Okey, so kalau tak ada, kita boleh bersurai. Kita sudahi dengan surah Wal-Asr. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr illa allazina amanu wa amilus solihat wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.